Good evening,
What is
everybody.
up?
Welcome in.
Hey,
Welcome
hey,
in.
what's going on?
It's your two favorite guys from the great Mount
Celebration,
Rushmore,
yeah.
from the
We're
great
back.
Mount Rushmore
We're back.
states. Yes, it's actually
That's right.
our
National champs, baby. National champs, baby.
yes, right. Honestly, I should have did a background for South Dakota State back. Changed up our background. I should have did that for South Dakota.
Right.
Should have
Should have
changed up
chat.
our background. Hell yeah, man! I should
Well,
have. Honestly, it would have
well,
been
shit.
dope as fuck.
Well, we we predicted this Dallas Tampa matchup for a while. You've been pretty much been using the same background for 4 or 5 months, and yeah,
Yeah.
definitely could have used some Jack stuff. To celebrate the they laid a beat down on TCU, man. We'll probably get to that in a little bit. We'll
Oh yeah, for
talk about
sure.
TCU and Georgia.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
no,
sure, for sure.
snow's gone. Snow's gone for a while, so
Yeah, yeah, which is nice. No snow for a little while, anyways. Um, I know. I did. I mean, I didn't really catch too much. I mean, I did catch a little football, but I was actually um more into tuned of watching that NDS SESU game because I was like, yep, I gotta watch that. So, but yeah. Oh crap! Oh, you froze a little.
some some bad signals tonight here. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's switch on and off. I'll freeze, then you freeze. Tag, you're it.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Oh shit.
no. What I was saying was is I was catching a little football, and then I was actually watching Red Zone, and then I'm like, well, I gotta watch a little bit of this. I gotta watch some of the FCS games. So that's what I did. I kind of watched that for rest of the time, and I was like, holy shit, it was a great game. But we do have a game can talk about. Honestly, I'm kind of glad I did not watch this game.
Good God, that was embarrassing, man. Like, I thought TCU was a fraud to begin with. Because they lost in the Big 12 title game to K State, and K State got smacked by Alabama. We see how good they were. Alabama just smacked them around. Oh, Donovan, what's up, dude? He's back. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, no, just embarrassed. Duggan, the quarterback from TCU, like he. I think he killed it. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was maybe a mid round pick, but now I mean, he might be a sixth, seventh round. I mean, he'll be a backup. Be he'll be lucky to be. Like maybe he's Brock Purdy. I don't know. Maybe he ends up in the right situation and and kind of got.
Yeah.
This was this is defense. And this whole Georgia team. This might be the greatest college football team ever assembled. Honestly, so
Yeah.
this was the measuring stick, and he failed miserably. The two picks, and just I mean, 65-7 in a championship. That's the kind of shit that like Georgia will beat some team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe FCS team 65-7. You don't beat the number in the country 65-7. So I thought the actual national championship was that Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Honestly, 10
For
times
sure.
better. This at 31-7 in 31 second quarter, I was like, "Yep, I'm done." And then I looked on my phone later, 60. I think I was at the gym, and I was like, 65. Are you shitting me? 65-7. But I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on it. But that was a disgrace, man. TCU lost the same. I don't know how the hell Michigan lost to them, but
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to honestly think about it because I was it was kind of just insane because I'm like there's no way that this is game was just getting out of hand. I was just like, "What the hell, man?" I was just like, I was actually watching Raw, and then I just started seeing updates on my phone, and I'm like, "No way." No, I'm like, it was 20, they had 7, then it was, a couple more, and then the next thing you know, it was like 27, then it was like 30, and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "This is not even a damn game." And I'm like, "What the hell?" So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm glad I didn't waste my time." I mean, that was pretty damn sad. And I mean, I guess if TCU's quarterback is entering the draft, I guess, I mean, he might not have great luck, but it, you know, what is it? Cam Rising, um, the guy from Utah, he's not entering the draft this year, so he'll be probably coming out next year. He's going back to Utah this year, so it might be some good prospects for 2024, anyways. So it should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, yeah. TCU, there's a couple guys entering the portal, quarterbacks. TCU is definitely going to need one if they're going to replicate this next year. Yeah, this was a disgrace. They talked this team up, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors how they beat Michigan. I mean, it was. I mean, I honestly Michigan. I thought Michigan was a better team. Ohio State would have, like I said, Ohio State was a better Georgia. Alabama should have been in the playoff to begin with. It should have been Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and Alabama. That much. I mean, if we would have gotten a Georgia, Alabama semis and Ohio State, Michigan, everybody would have been
Yeah,
happy. I know it would have been the second
yeah,
matchup for each teams, but I mean, there's a reason the Big Ten and the SEC are the best conferences. Because they have the best. They provide the best matchups, and I think once this shit's over, we got one more year of this 14 playoff. And then 2024 we finally get the 12 team. This is exactly why
mm,
you need a 12 team. Because
yeah,
we were deprived. We were deprived of Tennessee.
yeah. That and then
Deprived of. I thought we could have made some noise, maybe one or two matchups, maybe got to the semi. I mean, Tulane was a damn good team. So
yeah,
and TCU would have gotten exposed in the first round. They would have been out in the round of 12. Like they would have. So yeah, it was a disgrace. But yeah, taparoo, tip tap to Stetson Bennett, Georgia quarterback. He tied Burrow's record for a championship game with 6 touchdowns. Man, I don't know where
Jesus,
this kid's gonna. He's got some mocks. He reminds me of Purdy. He reminds me of Brock
yeah,
Purdy. So if he were to end up in maybe he ends up like a 7th round pick with the Dolphins. Because they run a similar style with McDaniel. They run a similar style offense as Cisco. So maybe he ends up in
yeah,
but he's got mock the winner. Walk on and why if he's drafted or he's a late round pick is because he's 5'11". I think if this guy was 6'3", he'd be the number. I mean, he's got the intangible part. He just doesn't have the size. So
yeah,
yes, Bennett, he was great, man. 2 national championships. He's going to go down as probably a top 15 college quarterback of all time. I would say. I mean, how
yeah,
many guys say they won 2 national championships?
yeah.
Tim
That's
Tebow.
yeah. It's pretty hard to actually go back to back. I mean, I think Alabama they went back to back.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it's not easy, for sure. Because if you look at this, I mean, college, anything can. I mean, just look at the score here. Anything could happen for sure. I mean, that Michigan and TCU game. They were actually pretty. That was a pretty close game, and TCU, they took it home. But like I was telling you before, I was like, I was really surprised to see TCU look this good like all year long, and I'm like, because they were a bottom feeder, and next thing you know, now they're at the top of the game, and I'm just like, what? I'm like, these guys weren't that great. Next thing you know, I mean, here, they're on top of top of everything, and it's like, where the fuck did this come from? Like, what changed them around that damn quick to actually, from a losing record to just being, to a national title? So it's like, so anything is fucking possible nowadays. I mean, it is, but I'm looking forward to this 12 get, this bigger playoff platform just because it's gonna be, I think. everybody's down on it, but I think it's going to give some better games.
Absolutely, man. I can't. At first, like I said, I was when I first heard about it, I was like, "You're gonna add 8 more." But now it's like after watching this shit, after being subjected, kings of the amphibian world. yeah, yeah, pretty close, man. Yeah, no, they're trash. I mean, there's a reason why they weren't a preseason top 25 because I mean, this is the first time this has ever happened. This is the first time that a team that wasn't in the preseason top 25 made the playoff, nonetheless, the national championship game. There's a reason for that. Like TCU, I mean, they were a nice story, but like with Cincinnati last year, making the playoffs, and somebody else who I'm not thinking about, Washington maybe 5 years ago. Just kind of an obviously they're a big five team, maybe a big five conference team, but just don't have the firepower to match up with Georgia. I'd say there's only a couple programs in the country that can match up with Georgia, even keep it within 10. And that's, obviously Ohio State, maybe Clemson, obviously Alabama. There's a handful of teams. TCU is one of them. So yeah, playoff. Let's go. Let's get that 12-team playoff going. Do you want to get into the FCS while we're on college?
Yeah, yep. We can. We sure can.
The
boom. Yes.
Oh, look at that! Look. Can we get an applause? Can we get an applause for Jamie and his graphic work? Love that. Find that. I mean, God, that's sexy.
Oh, yeah, man. It's
45-21. Oh man, NDSU has been the dominant. They have, man. They've been the dominant program in FCS for years, and they'll probably lose another coach. I know. K-State took their coach a few years ago. The NDSU. He'll probably get a promotion to the main FBS. So. I mean, NDSU's still got a great program. I mean, it's kind of a down year if you can call 12-3 a down year. But I mean, SDSU, they were just firing, dude. I think their only loss. I think their only loss wasn't it 7-3 to Iowa?
The Jacks.
I think the only loss this year was I think it was 7-3 against Iowa. So I mean, they could have won that game.
Yeah,
I mean, with a couple plays, they could have had a 15. Jamie, they could have had a 15-0 season.
Yeah, they could have.
Probably one.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, honestly, you think about it, we were kind of screwed from the year before. We were in the national title. It was Montana State or whatever team it was, and I'm like, God. And I think that game was actually pretty close too. But it was kind of sad. I'm like, because we missed out on because we were actually good last year, and we missed out. And it's like, well, we missed out on a title. And it's just like, oh my God. So I'm like, I hope we go back next year, and finally, we actually get back to the title and actually win a damn championship. But I was just gonna say, with NDSU, they're actually, 9 championships out of 11 years. I think it was due time for another team to actually get some get another, bring home a title. But well, Eli's having some issues over there, man. I don't know what's up or what's going on over there, but yes. I was actually watching that South Dakota State game. It was what? Oh, is he back? Are you back?
Live here.
Are you here? I don't know. But anyways, I was watching that game. It didn't seem like the Bison could really do much, but all I know is South Dakota State was just, I mean, they were running all over them, dude. It was just like nothing. They had both their running backs had over 100 yards rushing on them. Both of them had touchdowns. Even even their Gronkowski, he had a nice heyday. And then he actually had a rushing touchdown and he had a couple touchdowns too as well. That was freaking awesome. But I mean, NDSU, they always look good though. I mean, if you think about it, these guys been in this promised land for number of times, and they're always they're always favored they're always favored to actually get a title every year. So, um, yeah, having some issues over there still. Yep, must be. He froze. But yeah, I don't know. How many of you guys actually watched the well, actually, how many of you guys actually watched both of these games? Are you having issues over there, buddy? Ugh. I hear clicking, but no.
You back?
Are you back? Do you need to exit out quick and come back? Yeah, but yeah, it was a great game. Yeah, yeah. So what were you actually doing, Donovan? That you were so busy you couldn't catch any of the games or catch any of the games. I mean, it's Sunday. It was on a Sunday, so I mean, you could have watched both NFL and some college football at the same time. That's never easy. um, so are you live over there?
Gotta learn how to multitask. You, you know,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
got
oh.
FCS. You're back to good at least.
Right?
All right,
Eli, I think it's
all
time for
right,
you
all
could.
right. No, I got good internet. I don't know what the hell. It's these. I'll be out of this shithole in about 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll get the fuck out
Mm.
of here. So well, all right, yeah, I'm getting the fuck up out of here, Chad. This is yeah, the shithole is it's closing in on
uh, cou-
drywall.
Drywall, gotcha. He was actually. Oh, so you were actually putting up some drywall. Nice. Are you making a man cave over there, Donovan? But yeah, while we're still kind of at this whole nice.
He's adding an addition. He's adding an addition for us. You know, we're gonna come out there. That'll be our studio.
Yeah, right.
So we, jeez, yeah.
So these are just a couple nice little highlights of the game. Well, that I saw, anyways. Their quarterback, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. They actually had both. Um, it's a basement makeover. Oh boy, sweet. Um, so they had both their running backs go for over 100 odd yards. Both of them actually had touchdowns, which was quite amazing. But as you can see, the Gronkowski, they had 14 for 21, 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. I saw the rushing touchdown. I actually watched. It was funny because it was actually like third and something, and they thought they were going to run it, and then he had just dumped it off and just ran it in for a touchdown. I was like, holy shit! But one of the running backs that was I think it was Amar Johnson. I mean, he looked like a beast. I mean, for the few carries that he got, he was just tearing them up. He looked like he actually looked like a fucking freight train. I tell you, man. It was just insane. I was like, no goddamn way, man. It was nice. It was nice. But I'm glad we actually won a championship. I know this is going to help um, our uh, our state out, and hopefully we can get guys who actually want to come play for us. So hopefully this can be more of a thing for us.
Lots of attractive blonde girls in Brookings. Just so any of you prospects out there, once you come, dip them toes in the water once you fly into Sioux Falls and come take a visit and maybe you'll stay and then we can win more national championships. You feel me, Jay? How about back to back? How about 3 out of 4? We'll go Patriots with it. We'll win 3 out of 4.
We
It's gonna
better go.
happen.
We have to go back to back now, man. Because I mean, it just seems like we once we got some gold in our hands now. It's like, ooh, we need some more now.
Get
But yeah,
greedy. Getting greedy.
did you actually see that one of the Brookings basketball players he actually was a recruit for basketball and did something stupid on campus?
What was he doing? Something we wouldn't do.
Let's just put it that way. It actually made um, the news.
Oh shit! No, I haven't heard about that.
Mm.
Stock rated through the semi-championship game. Yeah, I think the whole program. I think the whole program took a hit. I mean, the Big 12. I mean, they're already I mean, they're already in trouble, like losing. Texas and Oklahoma coming up, and they're
Yeah.
replacing it with a couple programs maybe they can build up. BYU and Cincinnati and shit. But yeah, the whole Big 12. I mean, I think they're five. I think they're the fifth of the Power Five. They fall into fifth because I think the Pac-12 is better. I think the ACC is better. Especially with Florida State, I think I think they're going to be a preseason top 10 next year. So you'll have Clemson and FSU in the top 10. So I mean, yeah, I think the ACC. I think next year the Big 12 will be five. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah. I think
for,
the Pac-12. I think the Pac-12 teams are going to be pretty damn good next year, especially the kid from I think Oregon State's I think Oregon State's going to be as good. Bo Nix, he's staying with Oregon, or is he? Wait, yeah,
Oregon.
he's staying. Yeah. So Oregon, so the Ducks are going to be good. So that division, is going to be looking pretty damn good. And I'm hoping, Utah, actually, the Utes actually come out and do something this year. I mean, I've always been an Oregon State fan, since the days of Brandon Cooks. So and
Oh
then
yeah.
then Sean Mannion from Oregon from the Beavers too. He got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. So I mean,
Is he still in the league? Is he
I,
still in the league?
honestly, honestly, I don't even know if he is. I haven't actually haven't looked. I mean, last time I knew he was with the Vikings, he was just pretty much kind of a backup. But I would think by now he's probably somewhere else by now. I'm sure. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
No. No.
it's
Yeah.
crazy though.
I think the Pac-12. Even with losing UCLA, and I think USC's leaving too, aren't they? In a few years.
Um, I
Was
think
it UCLA
they're.
and USC that were both leaving, or
I
so I was
can't
trying to
remember.
remember, but for at least for next year, I think the Pac-12 is three because they've got, like I said, they've got two legit top 10 teams. I think, in my opinion, Oregon and USC. Utah will be right up there in the top 25. I think Oregon State will be in the top 25. Washington could be a top 15 pro. So you got five damn good teams right there, and then you get into
Yeah,
UCLA with Chip Kelly. Yeah, Chip Kelly's still the coach. Yeah, so that's another potentially top 25. So that's six I can name off the top of my head. I mean, yeah, the Pac-12 they're not that far off from the Big Ten and SEC. So I think the Big 12. I think they're a distant five at this point, and so they
yeah,
shit they shit the bed, and good luck getting that kind of respect next year, because they're the committee is going to take a second SEC team, a second Big Ten team, maybe a second ACC team if Florida State really ramps it up. Maybe who knows, the Pac-12, maybe USC and Washington, or USC and Oregon. So we'll see what becomes of 2023. But yeah, Big 12. Big 12 is
yeah,
garbage.
yeah.
We
Um, um.
Jamie, we should put SDSU in there. I think SDSU could beat some of these Big 12 teams.
Well, if you honestly, if you think about it, I mean, like when I was actually watching the Bison here and there, I mean, they actually beat, some of these teams. They went in and played K State. They came in and tore them up.
Yeah,
They beat them.
yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
so I mean, them having nine titles out of 11 years, I mean, that's saying something, you know? I mean, it's a legit program, you know? So, I
Oh,
mean,
the best. I
you
mean,
know?
it's not like it's not like they beat some third rate. I mean, NDSU has been the gold standard in this division for over a decade. So,
Yeah.
hats off the Jack. And some of these guys are, I think could play in the next at least a division up, potentially, be free agents that undrafted free agents that get signed. Maybe some of these SDSU guys can play in the NFL. I have no doubt about that. Like they
Oh,
have some
yeah, I
athletes.
mean,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
they can compete. They can compete, and they went toe to toe with Iowa. Iowa's a decent Big Ten program, so I'd love to see that. I'd love to see more of these big level guys. The FBS guys schedule. Instead of being afraid of them, schedule more NDSU, schedule more Montana State, schedule more SDSU. Some of these power.
Oh,
I'd love to see
just,
that.
this just in,
What's up?
Spencer, Radler is not entering the draft. He's going back
He,
to, he's going back to the Cox.
that's my favorite. That's my favorite college program, Jamie, because I love the cock.
Um, but yeah, no, USC and UCLA is actually going to the Big Ten in 2024.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's what I was thinking. But at least for next year,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Pac-12
yeah.
is three of the Big Five for sure. But yeah, no, what do you think about? Well, while we're on him, that came up. Rattler. I thought he'd be I remember his first year at Oklahoma. I thought Lincoln Riley would make him into. It ended up being Caleb Williams taking over. Before he transferred to USC, but I thought
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley would sprinkle his magic like he did with Kyler and Baker and on all those guys. So I thought it'd be similar, but I don't know. I think he's got an attitude problem. He's got a good arm, but I
Yeah,
don't know how much.
he's legit. I mean, I like him. I mean, with him being down with him transferring and stuff like that. I mean, it goes to show you. I mean, he's got talent. I mean, a lot of these younger kids, I just hope I think it just comes more down to their chemistry and their the way they hold themselves up on how what kind of activities they do out of football and stuff like that to give them a good rapport on teams that might want them and whatnot. So I mean, these kids like a Johnny Manziel, you got Johnny Manziel, and then you got
Zach
it's
Wilson.
Zach Wilson. It's
Um,
guys like them or that they're
uh,
more like the more the immature style kids trying to come into the NFL, get big money. They're like, oh, I got a payday, and don't have to actually live up to expectations. So I mean, it's kids like that you think that are it's I mean, look at Dak, for example. I mean, he wasn't impressive or anything like that, and he put up huge numbers. He was a just a straight shooter. I mean, it's kids like them that that kind of go unvalued sometimes, like a Josh Allen. I mean, smaller school. He got a good opportunity going in. So I mean, it's just that there's kids come from everywhere. It just depends on the very what they do. That's
I,
just
I
me
well,
though.
yeah, no, that's fine. And some of that stuff I definitely 100% agree with you on. I think with some of these smaller schools, and that's why I'm so high on Will Levis from Kentucky. I think and Rattler did a smart thing, because Oklahoma's kind of a blue blood. You know what I mean? You know what you're going to get. I mean, you're working with the top, 4 or 5 star recruit offensive linemen, 4 or 5 star recruit DBs and receivers, and I mean they got players up the ass at Oklahoma. They always will. You go to South Carolina, you elevate that program. If you go in there, win 9-10 games, like Dak did. I mean, Dak took Mississippi State to the promised. I mean, just about took them to the promised land. They were the number one team in the country, and people forget
Yeah,
that. 2015 for a couple weeks, Mississippi State was the number one team, and that was all Dak. I mean, did they
yeah,
have any other players of note? Like, no, nobody. You know, Ole Miss gets some players. Mississippi State doesn't. So yeah, definitely. With Spencer Rattler, yeah, I agreed with the move. It's like, hey, you think you can play here? And a lot of these other guys, I think his name's Horde. He was the backup with Washington. I think he's transferring because Penix Jr. was tearing it up for the
Yeah.
Huskies this year. So, he might be another guy. He goes to a, maybe a bottom end Power 5 school, and maybe he can make a difference. So I'm all for it. I love the transfer portal, and I love the opportunities some of these guys are getting. But
Yep.
yeah, no, Will Levis, that's my guy, man. Some of these, obviously Caleb Williams, when he comes out in 2024, Caleb Williams, unless he gets hurt, he'll be the number one guy. But this year,
Yeah.
I think it's open, man. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how if we were going to talk at all about some of the prospects, but I thought I'd get that in because I'm not a big Bryce Young guy. I'm
Yeah.
I'm turned off. I'm turned off. What I've seen this year with Tua, with the injuries and the size. Some of these other, Zach Wilson doesn't have the size, and he's a bust. So some of these guys, some of these smaller, mobile guys, I'm just not. Kyler Murray, what happened with him? It's not a huge fan of these guys. So Will Levis, like 6'4", big arm.
Yep.
Why can't he be the next Burrow, Allen, Herbert? He's got that kind of level of talent, I think. So.
For sure.
Let's see, 2 quarterbacks in the interest list. Yeah. Well, who are they? Let's see. Yeah, Chad. Who are they? I don't know. Jamie, are you a big? I know we talk a lot about. I know we talk about a lot about Drake May, but it'll be a couple years before Drake May can enter the draft too. Him and
Yeah.
Caleb are gonna 1-1A.
Yeah.
But for this year, while we're on it. Are you big on Bryce Young? You big on? I like Stroud. I don't know if you're big on Stroud too, or Levis.
I don't mind Stroud too much. Ohio State actually always has, they always got good quarterbacks, So if you look at what Fields does, Fields they might be struggling just like they might struggle a little bit. Depends on if they can land in a good NFL team. I mean, it sucks because I was actually having high hopes for Fields. It was more toward the end of this season that Fields actually started taking off a little bit. So for me, it was just kind of like I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I was going to kind of dig into some of those guys here a little bit and just
Yeah.
kind of see who's going to be kind of going where, and with all the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and So I guess I'm not really looking in too much into quarterbacks at the moment, but I know like some of the wide receivers like Addison. I'll probably watching where he goes. He's probably one of my favorites. I know there's a couple other guys too. I just didn't have them all written down yet. But Addison would be one guy. Oh, the kid from Michigan. I think I'll be probably seeing where he goes. So.
I had a question. It just came off top of my head hearing about that. I was wondering what Desmond Ridder. He didn't look. I know the Bucs were resting some guys, but Desmond Ridder looked pretty damn good on Sunday against the Bucs. I think he had like 224 and 2 touchdowns, and he did wonders in Cincinnati. He was a lot like Dak. Kind of took a bottom mid-tier program and took him to the top. So I don't know. Do you, if you're Atlanta, I think it's the 8th pick. Do you take, for help for him with Drake London? Do you take Addison? I know that might be a little bit higher than what he's projected. I think Addison's projected to be like a top 15 pick. But do you take Addison and team him up with Drake London? His well, I guess he would have been his USC teammate had he transferred a year earlier from Pitt.
Yeah.
But, I'd love to see Atlanta, with those two guys and with Algier, maybe another year of Cordero. If Cordero's got anything left, if Falcons could be a damn interesting team next year if they take, go get another weapon like that and healthy Kyle Pitts too.
Yeah, if Addison does stay in the board that long, unless I've seen a couple mocks where Addison goes to the Titans to team up, to pair him with their rookie and whatnot, Burks.
Oh, so, Traylon Burks. Yep.
Yeah, so to me, that makes sense for them because they need wide receiver help. But
weapons,
but honestly, he's kind of like more of a smaller version of Calvin Ridley. That speedy kind of guy because Kelvin was like that too. He was that quick route he was small bursts and whatnot. So I mean, I guess I kind of see him as a, but yeah, I think he would work there. I mean, that would actually kind of, with him coming in being a rookie there or whatever with Atlanta, if that did happen, I mean, and that would give London more opportunities to actually have coverage going the other way or something like that. Just never know. I mean, but yeah, I mean, with them actually, their run game actually was kind of coming on a little bit with Algier and whatnot. I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah, I'd like that. Just off the top of my head, kind of like what, because I put the top 10. After the season ended, I put the top 10 picks there. And it just got the brain going. I wasn't sure
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I heard a
Well,
rumor. I heard a rumor, Jay. Quick, I heard a rumor that the Colts might trade up and take Bryce Young. Honestly, man, I'll be honest with as dysfunctional as that. We saw what happened with Jeff Saturday. As dysfunctional as that team is, I think Bryce Young would fail there. I'll be honest. I don't think that's a good spot for him. I don't think it's a good
no,
spot for anybody, but I think that'd be a better spot for somebody like CJ Stroud. Big mobile. It's going to be hard for him to. It's going to be like Fields, where it's going to be hard for it's going to be hard for him to fail on his. The team's going to fail him. Like Chicago's going to fail him, but Justin Fields isn't going to fail you. Like I don't think CJ Stroud is going to fail the Colts if he went 4. You can stay wherever they're at. But Bryce Young needs the right system. I think.
yeah,
I don't think. I think he's Tua. That's honestly that's his comp. I think he's Tua.
yeah,
He needs the right offensive guy, and the Colts don't know what the hell they're doing. So I think that'd be a wasted pick. So
yeah.
I don't. I just heard that rumor. That they might trade
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I mean, it's honestly, you never know. I mean, well, with the Bears actually kind of faltering with the Chase Claypool pick, so that kind of hurt him quite a bit.
He's
So
garbage, dude. He is garbage. I
so
can't believe.
so so if you think about it, the Bears have that capital now. They're like, well, hey, you give us so many picks, for them losing out on that whole, So I mean, they got the driving table right now. They got it. So now, so anybody can come up and take that. Like, hey, we want this and this and this, so they can actually get more value back, which makes sense for the Bears. So I mean, it's very damn possible that anything can happen on draft day. So I mean,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I don't see Will and the defensive player from Alabama, Will Anderson. He seems like the Bears have a hard on for defense, and they always have, and that'd be a very Bears thing to
yeah,
do to take somebody like him at one. He ain't worth the number 1 pick. Okay, he's not Aiden Hutchinson. He's not Thibodeau from the Giants. I don't think he's that level of player. So I don't think. Yeah, I think you trade down definitely. I mean, that's a for sure. There's no clear cut number 1 pick. And if the
yeah.
Colts are going to give you a fortune, I charge. I mean, they're stupid. Colts are incompetent. I'd be like, well, I'm going
Yeah,
to need your first. I'm going to need your first. I'm going to need a first next year, and I'm going to need 2/3.
yeah.
Just fleece them, and then the Bears. Bears can rebuild that team because Justin Fields need. I'm telling you, man, like they're gonna fail that kid. They're gonna fail Justin Fields. They need to get him help, and Chase Claypool is
Yeah.
not help. Chase Claypool will be, unless he goes to Kansas City and Mahomes resurrects him like he did with Juju. Like, dude, this guy might be out of the league soon. I mean, Claypool looked like garbage with the Bears. And he didn't look much better with Pittsburgh, honestly. So I don't know if this guy still I thought I'd get that out there. I wanted to put him as a dud, but there's another guy that I'll get to. But I wanted to put Claypool as a dud. I've wanted to do it for a couple weeks now. He's trash. He's not helping Fields. That offensive line's not helping Fields. And I hate to see
Yeah.
Fields fail because we both like Justin Fields a lot.
Oh
I
yeah,
hate
I
to
mean,
see him fail.
I mean, I love Justin Fields. I was a fan ever since he was, with Ohio State, and then I watched him get drafted, and I'm like, so I was just like, well, shit, dude. So I mean, I was all for the kid, his first year didn't look so great, I was like, well, maybe a rebound, So I mean, it's just kind of like, it wasn't getting any better, and then all of a sudden, they had that little bit of spark, and it made you almost think like, "Oh shit, dude," and then it just never happened again. So it's just like, well, what the fuck, dude, you know?
Well, when he's the right, they don't even need a running back. I mean, honestly, honestly, it would almost make sense to do like, be super creative and run like a two quarterback offense. Go draft his buddy Stroud, and then you got two when
Uh,
Field, when CJ's in there playing quarterback, you just have Justin Fields as the running back. You know what I mean? And then you
yeah,
just swap them. I don't know. I
yeah.
don't know if that, but yeah, this whole the Bear. I mean, the Bears are just a joke.
Or
And
or or,
Montgomery.
or
Montgomery might be on the move, so they might lose him or something. Not sure his
there, there, there,
contract status, but
there you go. Take Bijan first round
Bijan.
to the Bears. There you go. Done deal.
That's hey, that's where hey, you trade down and because Bijan, he's not a number one pick, but I mean you trade down a little bit and then you can justify that. I think Bijan, I think he can be, I think he'd be a Miles Sanders level guy, like a Pro Bowl level running back. I don't think he's gonna be, like even Zeke. I don't even know if he's going to be Zeke in his prime, but I mean, he could be that
Yeah,
next level down. He could be a Pro Bowl running back. I think
yeah.
Bijan he'd be a great pick. You let Montgomery go, let Khalil Herbert be the backup. Khalil's a good little player. Like I'd love that. That's genius. Chad, kudos. I love that. But one more. I was cringing because Chad said one more year at Davis Mills, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my,
Yeah.
we'll be
I mean,
subjected to that.
I mean,
Uh,
it's. I mean, it's. He's not. I mean, he's not like a elite quarterback, but at least he can like toss the ball down the field, which is great. I mean, he's a good. Let's just put it this way: he's a
he's a
good
good
pocket.
hand. He's a
Yeah,
good
he's
hand.
a good pocket passer. I mean, he's tossing balls. So I mean, it's not like he's horrible, but I mean, he's not a high end quarterback. He's pretty much that lower end mediocre, quarterback that goes undrafted. I mean, he's pretty much a backup if really, really needed. So
I think Davis Mills could be a top 10. I think Davis Mills could be a top 10, if not top 5 backup in the league. I think he'd be a great number 2. I know Buffalo's got Case Keenum, but I could see him being like the Bills back, whenever the
yeah,
Texans are done with him. I could see him being Josh Allen's backup. I could see him being Burrow's backup. In Cincy. So yeah, Davis Mills, he'll have a spot in this league for 10 years. Absolutely. I think he's earned
yeah,
that. He's played, he played decent on Sunday again. They went out and beat the Colts. So, I mean, which isn't saying much, but
yeah, for sure.
he's had his moments. He's had his moments. Davis Mills has had his moments where he's proven he's an NFL quarterback. Let's just put it that
Yeah.
way. He's not a franchise guy, not a guy you build around, not a long-term guy, nothing like that. But he is, at the very least, he's going to be a good, solid backup. Let's see.
Oh shit! So the
Uh,
Cardinals might move off Hopkins. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I kind of, I think we were talking about that middle of the year, maybe October, November. We were kind of just, around the trade deadline, we were kind of
Yeah.
talking, hey, they're going to move DeAndre, or DeAndre was unhappy with the offense, and I don't blame him.
Well,
It was a shit show, dude. They just fired Kingsbury.
oh
The
yeah.
GM stepped down. Kyler doesn't read his goddamn playbook. Can't stay healthy. Uh,
I was
Complete shit show. DeAndre. He wants a ring, man. That's what he wants. And
oh yeah.
where do you
Um
think DeAndre would be? Go ahead, Jay, with your point, and then get into like maybe where you think DeAndre could go.
um ugh. Well, he would have to be a team that's a contender,
Contender.
really.
Yep.
So I mean, it's it may maybe
Giants. I think the Giants would be a great spot for him. I think he with Wandale Robinson coming back next year, and maybe
yeah.
Shepard. You never know with him with his availability.
I mean, I
But
love Shepard as much as I
he
could
can stay
probably see
healthy.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I could probably see that. Him going up there with, maybe being with the Giants, that would be kind of legit because then their wide receiver core would be, they would be
Up
some oh yeah, I would like their wide receiver core for sure. I mean, they'll have some legit people to throw to, and that would actually help freaking Danny
Daniel
Dimes
Jones.
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, a good little, good wide receiver like him. Oh yeah, I mean that would boost his. I mean, people would probably freaking out, and be like, So I guess if he wants to go to a contender, I mean, I legit maybe Kansas City if they don't sign Juju. I mean, there's some guys that they on 1 year contracts. So maybe maybe he goes to KC. Maybe they work out something there. So I mean,
And Kansas City, I always say they're like the Golden State Warriors of the NFL. You know, they're like the equivalent, meaning that
Yep.
you're going to get a lot of guys to sign 1-year deals like cheap just to go in and chase a ring with Mahomes because he's that good. And with what they've done with Jerick McKinnon didn't cost them very much at all. What they did this year with Juju, what they've done, I mean, they resurrected the Tony. From the Giants, they traded for him. He had some productive games, so it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I think definitely Kansas City, definitely Giants. I know Donovan brought up the Packers. I can see the Packers doing. They're cheap. They'll probably try to stiff. They'll probably try to stiff. Hey, we're paying Aaron Rodgers $59 million. Sorry,
I heard
veterans minimum. Whatever.
Yeah, well, I heard they can get out of that contract either way. So, but I was gonna say with Kingsbury, I was actually seeing some stats. Like he did. It's funny because even when he was with Texas Tech, they actually they had the first couple like good 5, like his record was good, and then the second half total just garbage. It's just like he didn't have any winning seasons at all. So it's just like I was looking at this, I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my god, it's horrible.
And they were shocked in the NFL when this guy did the same stuff. You know what I mean? The guy's been a head coach for 10 years. And I think, his like second half of this, like at Texas Tech and Arizona is, it's probably some crazy number below 500. Like the guy can't finish the season. And I don't think he needs to be there. What do you think about? I heard a rumor. What do you think about him being the coordinator with the Rams, like being the offensive coordinator? I think that'd be a good being under he's not the head guy, but I think Kingsbury, if he was like an offensive, like a quarterback coach or a offensive coordinator, I think he's good enough to be a coach in the NFL, definitely. But he's not a head coach. I'm sorry, he's been given 2 opportunities. He's failed both places. It's like, dude, you're done to me. You're dead in terms of being a head coach. You're a coordinator.
Yep, I mean, that's very possible. I mean, I think he'd put, in a lesser role. I think he's got some talent in that way. But I just probably him being another head coach. I don't think so. I mean, with his, with his record, I probably wouldn't. I mean, come out with a big boom, and then just it's almost like a firecracker. Come out just guns blazing, and all of a sudden just fizzles out. So it's just, but
my last girlfriend said.
What the heck was the other good thing I was going to say quick? Oh, yeah. John Ross, the speedy guy of the draft from, I think it was a couple years ago. He got signed by the Kansas City Chiefs. So it seems like the Chiefs are taking all the guys from freaking the Giants. But yeah, he won't play this year, but it'd be he'll be on the roster for next year, from what it sounds like. But they picked him up. So
you know what I would do with John Ross? You know what I would, because Mahomes can throw it. I'd be like, dude, every play, I want you going 60 yards and then one. Eventually he's got to catch one of them. He's got one of these for just every play. It'd go three receiver sets. Like, John, you go straight that way. Straight line,
for sure. But yeah, no, it's crazy. It is. And then I didn't know the other quick bad thing is the Ravens don't know what they're doing with Lamar. I mean, I just seen that I think I heard on TV earlier that they the Ravens signed they're one of their linebackers or whatever it was. So it's kind of like, dude, giving him that kind of money. I mean, what about Lamar with, so I mean, that's going to be kind of shaky there for sure.
Okay. Roquan Smith, I think that's the largest linebacker deal ever. And he's Roquan, loved him in Chicago. He's been a stud so far with the Ravens. Got him and Patrick Queen, and they got some studs on that defense. I mean, that's gonna be a dogfight. Them and the Bengals. I think that's gonna be a damn good game this weekend. But in terms of like what they're doing with Lamar, you're gonna pay a linebacker $20 million a year, but you're not even in negotiations with Lamar. Bring him to Tampa already. Enough of this. Our season could possibly end Monday night. Probably will. But and Brady's out the door. if these idiot, that's what they are. They're idiots. Okay, this guy Lamar, I know injury concerns, whatever. The guy sells jerseys. He's an NFL MVP. When he's healthy, they win 75% of their games. He puts up stats. He puts fans in the seats, which is, I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. Like, what the hell are you doing? If I'm Tampa, if I'm Jason Light, the GM Tampa, I mean, like, what is it going to take to get Lamar down here? Because I'll give him what he wants. I'll give this man 45 easily. Because if Deshaun Watson's getting 46 a year, if Kyler Murray's getting about that, and the crazy money that Dak's getting, crazy money, Kirk Cousins, all these guys, you can pay Lamar. You can give Lamar 45, at least 45 a year. So bring him down to Tampa. We'll hook it up. It's a public PSA here, public service announcement. Lamar, what do you think about this nonsense, man? Why are you not locking this guy up?
Yeah, that's what I would think too. I mean, if you want, especially if you want something like him being your franchise quarterback, this is like, he's been there for so many years. He's like an icon. Yeah, he's kind of like their. I mean, he's like, that's why everybody draws into Baltimore, because you got Lamar Miller. You got him. So it's just like, I don't see what the issue is. It's like, dude, it's like, what, they don't want to pay money for a freaking a franchise quarterback that's been there. I mean, yeah, they've been banged up, but I mean, what do you expect? It's football. If they've
at least he reads his playbook. I mean,
yeah,
you're worried about mobile. I mean, Lamar hasn't had as many, freaky concussions as Tua. He's bigger than both these guys. He's bigger than Kyler. He's bigger than Tua. He's bigger than Bryce Young. He's bigger than Jalen. A lot of these smaller bigger than Russ. He's bigger than a lot of these small quarterbacks. And I don't know what the hesitation is. I really don't. It's a business at the end of the day. This man, he's in the top. I think top 5, if not top 10 of jersey sales. I'd have to double check. I know McCaffrey, I think, is number 1. But
yeah.
He's a generator of business, and the fans love him there. I mean, when you think of Baltimore, you think of Lamar Jackson. Okay, you don't think
you
don't think of Roquan Smith. You don't think of Patrick Queen. You don't think of Rashad Bateman. You think of Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
He's the franchise. Okay.
Yep, pretty much is, and I just don't see why they're just messing around with him. I mean, yeah, Lamar might be his own agent. He could probably say, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm out of here.
Yep. And there's a couple receiver. There's Chris. Come down here. He worked with Chris Godwin. maybe
Mike Evans.
A couple more years of Mike Evans before he retires.
Yeah, no shit.
Probably draft another receiver this year to get some help. It's come on. This is dumb. This
it is. It's crazy. Is Korea gonna stick with the Twins this time? Is he gonna say "fuck you guys" out too, or what?
Oh yeah, no, we get a little baseball in here too, buddy.
Yeah, just real quick. Yeah,
I get a kick. That's why I wore the Mets jersey. It's kind of a troll thing. It's dumb, man. It's like I get, they did their physicals and that's in baseball, these are giant contracts. Okay. This isn't like, the NFL, yeah, there might be some big deals, but most of them you can get out of pretty easily. These baseball and basketball deals are, you're locked in with these guys. So I know, I understand where the Giants come from. I understand where the Mets are coming from. These big, long, 13, 12, 11-year deals. Twins, and he's basically staying at home. This was the team that, that raised him from a cub to a grown man and shit. 6 years, $200 million. I don't know. I'd have to see what more, see what Chad or Donovan, see what these guys have to say. But
yeah,
for what the market's putting out, 30, was about 33 a year, 33 million, 30,
yeah,
30
it's
34 million, something like that.
Yeah, it's 200,000.
That's kind of what the market for a top player like this. It's kind of what the market is bearing. And, I remember when the Twins gave out that massive deal to Joe Mauer back in the day, and it didn't work out, like they had planned. So I hope this doesn't backfire, but the Twins need to start spending some money. Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is a good start. This guy, he's homegrown. He's an all-star. and I like the move, and it's that's probably pending too. I know they're waiting on his physical, but if there's any
Well,
team if there's any team that's going to be patient with it, if there is some complication with his leg, it's going to be the Twins, because the Twins, they've worked on this guy for years. I mean, farm system up to the big leagues, so they're gonna be more understanding than the Jets, or sorry, the or the Giants. I don't know what do you think, but
yeah, it's well, I mean, it almost makes sense for him to go back to Minnesota because they already know what's going on with them, So I mean,
yeah,
so I mean, that's the way I see it, anyways. I mean, at first I was like, what the hell? I'm like him going to the Giants, I mean, I kind of heard back in a pod, like they were hoping to maybe try to keep him, but then I heard that he went to the Giants, and I'm like, oh shit, dude, that's huge. And next thing you know, he's like, next thing you know, I was working. Next thing you know, I say, oh, Korea signed with the Mets. I was like, "What?"
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I'm like, "What the hell's going on here?" And so I kind of then I see Korea might be, might he's off doing some other thing, and he doesn't like what's going on. And next I hear rumors of maybe the Twins kind of coming in, and next just it was earlier today he signs with the freaking Twins. So it's like you know.
Yeah. Is he gonna sign with the Royals next week? How about in 3 weeks he signs with the Orioles? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
This was the crazy thing too. I was actually listening to an MLB pod, and the host was actually making fun of Korea. I was like, "Oh yeah, what's he gonna do? The Giants." And then is he gonna get a It was funny because he was actually just going down each team. Is he gonna sign with the KC? Is he gonna get a 1 year deal after going through 8 teams? So it's just like it kind of blew my mind just a little bit with just the whole physical thing. But I mean, I understand the with health, being healthy and health wise and stuff like that. I mean, you got to be healthy when you're playing sports for sure. You got to take care of yourself. But sometimes things happen. You just that's a given. You don't know when. I mean, just like the whole Kyler Murray, him tearing his ACL. I mean, you don't know when that's stuff like that's going to happen. I mean, it's a lot of strain. It's a footballer's knee, but you just don't know when things like that are going to happen. It's just ungiven. You're like, oh, well, it's week 13. I know my knee is going to come out, or my ACL is going to come out. You
yeah,
don't you, you don't know that, you know.
you can't no, you can't predict this stuff. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's a business. Okay, so it's just what we were just talking about with Lamar. It's like, okay, you can have your hesitations about injuries and whatnot, but the guy sells I guarantee he sells the most jerseys of any of the Twins players. Correa is probably probably another guy that's a top 15 jersey seller. So he's moving merch, puts fannies in the seats, because you get to see an all-star level with the glove and the stick. You know what I mean? All around player. I don't know. I I'm gonna predict. I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna say that this deal falls through with the Twins, and you know what? He goes a state over. He signs with the Milwaukee Brewers for nine years. $290 million. There we go. That's my prediction, and that's my prediction for 2 weeks. Okay, so
Yeah.
our little scroll on the bottom. It'll say renege deal with Twins, comma Brewers sign. Okay, Carlos.
uh,
What a shit
um,
show, man.
no, I hope he stays there in Minnesota because I mean, he played well. I mean, I had him on some of my fantasy teams, so I mean,
Yeah,
so
guy's
it's
an animal. Guy's an animal.
yeah, he is. So it's just one of those things. It's like I was actually kind of funny because I was actually um, looking back at some um, what? Oh, is he? Are you a Brewers fan, Donovan?
He
Uh,
should be. I mean,
I
damn,
mean,
I think the Brewers are a sleeper in the National League this year. I really do. I think they could easily
well,
compete
they
with
got
Phillies,
Well,
Braves,
yeah, they got Contreras now
Dodgers.
from the Braves. So I mean,
Yeah, yep,
their
saw that.
catchers are yeah, their catcher is going to be legit. So um, what was I going to say? What was I going to say here?
Definitely, they're definitely Jay. I was just say I think they're definitely going to win the NL Central though. You can market that down. They're going to win that division. I don't think Pirates are shit, Reds are shit. Cubs probably be around 500. Cardinals are decent, but yeah, Brewers are
Yeah.
head and shoulders the number one team in that division.
Yeah. 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 For sure. Yeah. What the heck was I gonna say? Yeah, I was actually going through some of my teams. I was actually just kind of writing, and I was like just looking at the drafts and stuff like that from my roster to the ending to the guys I drafted. And I'm just like, what the hell, So I was just like, I'll have to show you. I'll have to show you that this week when you get up
Yeah,
here. What
yeah,
I was
sounds good.
so trying to prepare for a little baseball here in the next couple months. So, but yeah, our last little thing for our last little, you know what time it is of the year before we hit the off season.
1 second.
Yes. Do you know what time it is?
Oh, you've entered hell.
You know what time it is, guys?
You're in the midst of. Oh, good. Hey, man. Last red light of the season. Last red light in this shithole. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So better connection, guys. Hopefully you get some more, other memorabilia and shit on the walls and whatnot. So, but yeah, let's do some studs and duds, baby. Yes. And two guys I haven't, well, usually I do two, but we're gonna split it up. We're gonna do 1 and 1 tonight.
Yeah.
Akins, I've told Jamie before, and I like this guy. I think he's got a future. He had a great rookie. I think this was like his third game with 2 touchdowns. I mean, he didn't do much otherwise. He kind of popped these random games. So like fantasy wise or DFS, you couldn't like, oh, I got to have Jordan Akins in there like he's Kelsey or Andrews or whatever. But guy had, that's a good sign going forward, especially if they get a quarterback in there next year. Davis Mills, obviously, my thoughts on him. Akins, 4 for 72 touchdowns. What a way to end the season. Get the dub. And, I think next year, there's kind of questions about who would be the number 1 tight end with the Texans coming into this year. No question now. Next year, depth chart, he'll be the number 1 guy. And then a dud. They needed AJ Dillon. They needed I need a lot more than that to beat the Lions, but they needed Watson, they needed Dubs, Cobb, they needed everybody. But this guy, because I saw a little bit of Aaron Jones. I don't put a lot on him. Okay, I put it on AJ Dillon, 9 for 33 with no touchdowns in a must-win. Win or you got to win to get in kind of game. Guy shit the bed. You can say, well, you only got 9 touches. Well, you know what? You got to pop one, dude. There's a couple of these plays that Green Bay didn't make, especially in the red zone. Those first 3 drives. They were deep in the Lions' territory, and then Crosby ends up kicking some, some 45 to yard field goals. I think there was a couple of them, but this whole team, and I predicted this. I thought they'd be 7 and 10, ended up 8 and 9. But I think he was the catalyst because we expected a lot more from A.J. Dillon this year, especially with what we saw with Jamal Williams from the Lions. Jamal Williams tore up the league. I forget a total touchdown amount, maybe been about 17 or so. This was his spot. A.J. Dillon effectively took Jamal Williams' spot. That's why Jamal Williams is with Detroit.
Yep.
When you get outplayed, dude. I can see A.J. Dillon being moved. Traded. Released something. You can't perform like that. There's, it's I don't know. To me, it's like you had to win and you shit the bed. I'm putting it on him. I'm not putting it on Watson. Watson had 104 yards. Dubs has been hurt. Lazard, we didn't expect much from him to begin with, but he caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
I guess Tanya could have been in the same mix, but yeah, AJ Dillon definitely. I don't know.
Yeah, Akins is actually, for far as tight end wise, season total yards, he is actually with probably this. I'll have to redo this, but he was in the top 20 for season totals. at the end, he had like 425, so I may so maybe not quite 500 yards, but I mean, if it's for a tight end for the tight end position just being horrible. I mean, this is kind of what you get. I mean, the only guy that's legit in all of this is the Kelsey. You got your Hawkinson and Andrews. He's if Akins is not none of these guys, but I mean he's just your below average. Kind of flex guy you can probably stream here and there or whatever. So I mean, that's who Atkins is.
Yeah, and speaking of tight ends, I think Green Bay needs to draft one or sign Mike Gesicki from Miami. Because they're
Yeah.
Tanya just 425. It's just not getting the job done. To be an upper echelon tight end, you need at least, in my opinion, 800 yards, 750 to 800 yards. If you're not putting up that, then you're replaceable.
Yeah.
So Dylan's a good call there. Could be, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe he ends up in a different landing. Lands up somewhere else and see what he does. Maybe he pulled a Jamal Williams. Maybe AJ Dillon ends up with the
Right?
Cardinals next year. Maybe he ends up with the Cardinals next year and gets 12 touchdowns. You don't know. So
Yeah, he's got the legs for it, dude. I mean, he's got those big meaty legs.
tree
I mean,
trunks, yeah, yeah.
so I mean, he's got it to actually. I mean, he could be a bruiser if he really needed to be, but I just think the Packers were just more up and down this year than anything. So I mean, it's just really hard saying it. I mean, that's just my view on the Packers. I mean, they kind of went on a win streak here for a little bit the last half of
They,
the
te- they,
season.
they tease their fans.
Yeah. Hey guys, we might make it in, but no, we're not going to
Yep,
try it so hard
yep.
this year.
They were like the kids say, they were soaking. They put the tip in, but they didn't finish the chip.
Oh.
Oh hell! Oh,
Mhm.
is that Kickstart or
Yes. Yep.
nice, nice.
Yeah. Well, not Kickstart, but
The Rise, yeah,
Yep. Yep.
those are good
Yep.
too.
But yeah, I'm gonna hit up and do my favorite. Boom.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yep. So we got some Garrett Wilson. He almost had himself a nice 100-yard game. I was watching Red Zone quite a bit. I was watching Red Zone before I actually got onto the um, FCS championship game. Garrett Wilson looked awesome, man. Not he didn't get a touchdown, but I mean, I think if they can get themselves a right quarterback in there, dude. I mean, this kid's gonna be a keeper up with the Jets. I mean, he's legit. Him coming in having 1,000-yard season. Him and there's a couple other guys too, but him coming in and getting a 1,000-yard season right away. I mean, shows that he's got some talent. He can get open. He's not a slouch. So I mean, I love Garrett Wilson going into the offseason, coming into next year, So I mean, it's he got himself 1,000 yards. I was happy. He looked the part, man. This whole. I mean, he had a couple of shitty games, but I mean, overall, I like the fact that Garrett Wilson looked legit.
If they can get a quarterback in there with Brees Hall coming back, hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully Brees makes a huge impact next year because that was sucky to see. He would have been 1,000-yard back easy, had he stayed healthy. And
Oh yeah, I loved Brees Hall, dude. I was pissed when he got injured because I drafted him in some leagues, and the way he was playing, man, he would have been I swear to Brees probably would have been 1,000-yard back too.
Absolutely. And Garrett Wilson is a absolute stud. He's a number one. I don't know how good. I don't know if he can be AJ Brown good or Devontae good or Tyreek. If he can be on that level, but this guy is definitely the number one guy with the Jets, which we both thought. You loved Garrett Wilson more than I did, but this phenomenal rookie season. He needs help. Elijah Moore ain't the answer. Obviously, Zach Wilson sure as hell ain't the answer. I don't have any problem with the tight ends. Conklin and Uzama, they're decent combo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Probably use a little more, and defense is fine too. I mean, maybe get another edge rusher or something, but
yeah, Conklin was he was the
solid.
top he was a top 15. I mean he was number 12 season pretty
Yeah,
much.
nothing wrong with
He
tight
had
ends.
about 500 some odd yards. So I mean he had a couple touchdowns up in there. So I mean not like he had that one huge game too. So I mean not like Jets got some slouches. So I mean they're building, I mean, they almost made the playoffs, but, with the bad quarterback play, it doesn't help much.
Not
I
at
was
all.
actually I was actually hoping to actually see him in the playoffs this year. I was like, "Holy shit, the Jets are actually turning it around." I'm like, "Holy shit," but no, they just kinda fizzled out at the end. I'm like, "God damn it, dude." I think they would have played Mike White a little bit more. I think they probably would have been in.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And Flacco needs to retire. Mike White needs to be a backup. Zach Wilson needs to be cut or traded. And I look at Jimmy G. I know he's got injury concerns, but Jimmy's a winner.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Carr. I mean, Derek Carr isn't great or anything, but he's an upgrade over anything they've had the last few years. So you bring somebody decent in there, and Jets will be a playoff team with that defense, with that coach. They'll be just fine. Yeah, see you, Donovan. Have a good night.
Yeah, catch you later, homie.
He's got more drywalling to do.
Hey, yep. Um, but, my dad is the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, they look like trash, straight trash. I mean, even though I'm a Cowboys diehard over here, I'm like, "What? Why did the hell did they let the Commanders walk alone?" They had their starters playing too. It's like, "What
Yeah,
the fuck?" I
yeah,
could not believe it.
they got roughed up by your boy Sam Howell, the
Yeah.
UNC kid. That he I don't know, man. Because they had something to play for. I mean, it's not like they were the Giants and we're locked into the 6th seed or locked into the 5. I mean, if Philly would have lost and Dallas would have won, and say San Francisco would have lost too, Dallas, if those things had happened, Dallas would be the number 1 seed. They would have had a bye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I
This
mean,
wasn't this wasn't some shitty, and this was a 12-4 team coming into this game. This wasn't some shitty program they're running. So yeah, shit the bed and Gallup. I don't know. I still think they need a better number 2. He's not good enough. He's a CD
yeah.
Lamb. If they get, that's why they should have, like we were saying, they should have got Brandon Cooks. Or I'm glad they didn't get Claypool. Claypool's a bum.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Cooks would have fit in there. Just yeah, Ty. I mean, he's helped a little bit here. I mean,
he's
good for
past his
him.
prime though.
Yeah, but I mean, Cooks. Cooks is actually looking for a trade. He wants. He's done with the team, but um, yeah. I
DeAndre,
honestly no
DeAndre. No, no, no.
no.
But could something like that work? Maybe DeAndre with Dallas. You don't know.
I did-
You think you
I
think
don't
he's an
know.
upgrade? I think he's an up. Michael Gallup is younger, obviously, but uh, I think DeAndre at this point is still an upgrade. I think him and CD would be a nice combo going into next year. He'd probably do a team friendly deal. I mean, who doesn't want to live in Texas is a no state income tax. You get to work with Dak. You get to work, still have a good offensive line, still have a good, decent defense.
I guess if you don't have to give up much for him for
Yeah,
in a
yep,
trade,
exactly.
maybe. But I mean, yeah, I'm sure. He was born. He was a pretty much a Texan. So I mean, he loved being in Texas. So maybe if something like that could happen, then maybe possibly. I mean, we got rid of we actually cut what's his name the kid from Pittsburgh that he didn't even see a light of day, and we ended up cutting him. So. Uh, I can't think of his name now offhand.
James Washington.
Yep, yep, yep. So I'm just like, there was a waste of money right there. We could have actually picked somebody else up. It's just like, God damn, dude. I mean, it kind of, I mean, yeah, though, like just like I was saying, like we were saying earlier, you don't know when somebody's gonna get hurt. It's just unpredictable. You don't know when someone's gonna break an ankle or gonna they have surgery on an ankle or something like that. So these things you just don't know what's gonna happen. We're not the Hulk here. So
Hulk smash.
yeah. But for Gallup, 1 for 10. You know, not good. I think Ty Hilton had a little bit better. He had a couple more catches. CD Lamb looked good like normal, but I mean he had a 90 or few more catches. I mean Dallas just did not. They did not look right, and I just to think about them. I mean they one game they could be just come out, guns blazing. Next thing you know, they're just like straight up garbage, like they're like a hobo. I'm just like,
Hey,
what the.
sounds like my team. That'll be an
Yeah.
interesting game.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll have to kind of get maybe next our next stream, or maybe just try to get into some of the games a little bit.
Yeah, some of the playoff matchups and
Yeah,
maybe a little, fantasy NBA or maybe a little NBA. We haven't talked NBA in a little bit, so yeah,
yeah,
definitely some playoff matchups
yeah.
and we can make our predictions and but yeah, no. Hey, all I can say about Dallas, man. Another Pro Bowl level season from CD. I mean, he's still a legit number one. So and I like what I saw a little. I wish he was fully healthy, but I like what I saw from Dalton Schultz. I think he's fine at tight end, and
Yeah.
Tony Pollard. I don't. Do you re-sign him or do you let him go? Like what's the situation there?
Oh, I guess it's something we could probably talk about too.
Yeah, yep.
I I think he's still in contract with these guys, but I was just seeing something where he
I was
it
reading
was
that
actually
too. Yep.
yeah, I was actually watching, ESPN thing. They actually had a little clip on, Tony Pollard a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, shit," because he actually played in a smaller school, and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, shit, dude." So, I mean, I just and he actually I think he came out the year after Zeke did, I think. I can't remember exactly offhand. So he's actually been in NFL with Dallas for a little while now. I mean, he just now finally kind of seeing the spotlight,
Blowing up.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so if one can keep a guy like him, in Dallas, I mean, yeah, I'd keep him. I mean, probably try to find another guy to kind of bring in, so they can kind of split what they're doing, because I think that's working, instead of having one straight shooter. Kind of do a 50-50. Maybe one get a little bit more, one a little bit less. But I think Dallas needs to kind of keep with the two-headed monster kind of thing.
I agree. It's a good system they have, and I think Zeke's got another year or two left in him. So, and he's not going any. I mean, I think he's a Cowboy for life, So, I think you just run it back next year. I think maybe add a few guys, run it back. Got a good chance to beat us, and we'll get into that. But yeah, so it's not all hope is lost. I mean, you got it out of the way, but it's better than shitting the bed next week or in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's for
it's out of
sure. I
the way.
mean, yeah, have this shit game now, and then really prepare for
Ramp it up.
this
Yep.
weekend.
Yep.
So I mean, I think they play Sunday, so I'm it's going to be an interesting game for sure. And I'm hoping to pull for the Cowboys, but anything can happen. So
Absolutely.
well, boys, this was the last of the red light district for the season. So you're gonna have to wait for 2023 this fall for it to return. But yeah, it's
Leaving the red light district.
yep. Maybe we'll have a yellow right, a yellow.
I
Who
couldn't
knows?
speak much either tonight.
Yeah,
It's
a yellow. But I don't know. Maybe we'll have a blue light. I don't know. Maybe I might be the blue light.
we'll go fucking Kmart with it. We'll have a blue light special.
Yeah. Hey, well, hey, that might be an idea. Hey, maybe that segment for some blue light special. Maybe some guys could.
Sale on Chase Claypool.
Yeah. Hey, there might be something right there. So maybe I can come up with a couple guys. I'm like, hey, here's some guys to take a look at that might be lower. Yeah. Hey, hmm.
We're coming up with stuff.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I think I need to get some grub, and I got to do some work. I got to do some waxing tonight, so I gotta been working on some waxing the last couple of nights, so a little bit more tonight, and
Send me some pics. Send me some pics of the floors after they're done.
yeah.
What area of the store are you doing?
Oh, working in the interior lanes. That's what I'm
Oh,
working
nice.
on.
Yeah,
Yep,
perfect.
yep,
Yeah,
yep. Got to get some of those. Well, after all the snow we had, just tore up all the
yeah.
wax. So and so I'm trying to hurry up and go through all of them. I got to do I got to do the whole perimeter again too. So I mean, I got to get everything spruced up again. So yeah, it's a lovely night. But yeah, those are those are Eli studs. These were my studs and duds. And so, yeah, we're kind of getting to that. We'll be in the off season. We'll still kind of have a few streams here and there. Drafts is coming around the corner, so I mean, we'll talk a little. I got some of my stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I got some graphics for all the that I've been working on for all the QB, tight ends, and all that good junk. So we'll probably pop some of them up in the off season a little bit, and then we'll probably get into some of the. We can probably talk a little prospects as well, and whatnot here and there. So maybe do some mock drafting or something to see where some of these guys could land. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens for sure.
Yeah, nope. There's more to come. Definitely. So we'll get some streaming in, and we'll there's a lot of shit we can talk about when it's not NFL season. I mean, it'd be kind of miscellaneous, stuff that, so whatever. And if you guys have any suggestions too, stuff you want to talk about, we're totally game. I mean, we're pretty versatile. So
yeah. Well, all right, boys. We thank everybody for actually joining. If you guys, earlier I put in our Discord link for if you want to join our Discord. Our Discord's got a lot of channels in there. A lot of NFL stuff. They got a little basketball channel. We got a little. I like to actually spruce up that hockey stuff a little bit. We got a hockey channel, and then we got all that crazy spring football if you're into XFL and the USFL and all that good stuff. So that stuff's coming around the corner here too. So
water polo.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to talk about water polo. Unless there's girls involved, that's the only thing I'll watch water polo. But other than that, yeah.
Is that Marco Polo or is that water?
But yeah, I think that sounds pretty good, guys. But yeah, we'll probably be back. We'll probably be back Friday or so, possibly. I'm not quite sure yet, but
let me know if you're working or not. But yeah,
I don't as of now. I mean, unless there's a big winter storm coming, probably. I mean, I probably won't be working. So
yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back Friday night then.
Yeah, so sometime Friday. They're not sure, but we'll figure out what we're gonna do on our next stream. So stay tuned. It's just probably a couple. We'll still try to do a couple week, one or two a week or so. If we get one in, and so we'll see what happens. We might just do one a week, or so it just varies. So
or 5,
or 5. I don't think we're that talented yet.
No. We sharpen the skills a little bit here.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we'll see you guys probably next Friday, maybe 7 to 8. We don't know yet, but maybe Friday.
Whatever we feel like. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm Jamie. That's Eli. We're out of rhythm. Catch you guys later.
Deuces.